All right, hello again. I'm the last hodler, and as you probably know, I'm one of the lead blockchain developers at the UK's leading blockchain company called Online Blockchain. And I wanted to talk about something that I'm very passionate about, which is cryptocurrency startups. And I'm involved in a couple of cryptocurrency startups. I've started a couple of my own cryptocurrencies, and of course, I work on online blockchains cryptocurrencies as well. So here are 10 things your cryptocurrency startup needs to really get going. Okay, so the first one is Bitcoin Talk. Now, what's Bitcoin Talk? Well, Bitcoin Talk is the most popular cryptocurrency forum on the internet. Okay, pretty much every single cryptocurrency startup has an announcement post on Bitcoin Talk, and if you don't have one, you're basically missing out on the biggest venue for all cryptocurrency enthusiasts. There's thousands of posts on there per day. Anyone who's anyone is on that forum making posts and looking at all the new cryptocurrencies as they come out, all the new projects, all the new applications. It's the main hub for discussion for cryptocurrencies, especially new cryptocurrencies. There's a lot of content every day going on that forum. Okay, the second thing is you need a white paper, okay, and you need to spend a lot of time on your white paper, polishing it off, making sure it's absolutely perfect, because your white paper is usually going to be the first thing that people read once they've gained interest in your project. Okay, so it's all well and good to have a really nice website and a really nice Discord channel, a really nice Facebook page, but you need to have a really good white paper that explains in great detail exactly everything you're going to be doing and everything that you hope your application is going to be able to do, or anything your project is going to be able to do, all there outlined in the white paper. So that brings me on to the next thing, which is the roadmap. Now, what a roadmap is I guess you could say, kind of a brief plan and timeline of what the life cycle of your project for at least 1 year. Okay, it's better to have more than 1 year, because then you can kind of highlight exactly what your long-term vision for your project is. But roadmaps have at least 1 year usually of content. So you need to be very clear on exactly what you want to achieve on your roadmap, but you don't want to be so overly ambitious that you're going to scare people away, because there's a lot of vaporware in the cryptocurrency space. There's a lot of grandiose claims, a lot of people that are going to change the world with their cryptocurrency. And then, a little bit further down the line, they realize maybe, well, they don't have the funding to do that, or maybe they don't have the technical expertise, or maybe they never really intended to do it in the first place. So your roadmap has to be both ambitious, but also feasible. So don't go over the top with your roadmap. Okay, so the fourth thing you're going to need, and this brings in the community aspect of your cryptocurrency project, which is, in my opinion, going to be your most important gauge of health for your cryptocurrency project, all right? The health of your community. So you need to create a Discord channel and a Telegram channel. Now, what Discord and Telegram are their channels where you can talk directly to your audience in real time. So they're like Facebook Messenger or any other messaging service, but you're able to make announcements to your fans and people who want to be involved, community who want to be involved in your project, and you're going to be able to give them feedback, and they're going to be able to give you feedback in real time. Okay, so I would encourage you to definitely at least have your developers on Discord able to interface with community developers, because community developers are going to be a huge asset to you. If you're able to get community developers interested in your project, then you're going to be having all these applications come in that are based on your project. You're going to have an entire new layer of content, and it's all for free because it's your community and they really want to further and advance your project. I mean, no one paid most of the early Bitcoin community to make Bitcoin Core, to make all the different Bitcoin wallets, Bitcoin mobile app, explorers and pools. No one paid them to do that. They did that out of interest because the community around Bitcoin is so strong, because it's the first cryptocurrency. Well, it's the first cryptocurrency that solves the double spending problem. It's the first mainstream cryptocurrency. It brings along with it a whole flock of nerds who want to help you. Okay, so that's absolutely fantastic. If you can make your community strong, that is the most important thing as far as I'm concerned. So Discord and Telegram channels are absolutely key. They're really important. And as far as the community thing goes, that brings me on to the next point, number 5, which is a bounty program. Now, what a bounty program is a way that you can reward your community for all the good work they're doing for your project. Okay, so for example, community developers, you can give them some of the coins that you've pre-mined to support the project, and you're paying them for giving you that content. You can pay people in your coin for graphic design, for social media, for blog articles, really for any content at all that's going to bring awareness or any positive effect into your startup or your project. A bounty program is just going to increase that in an order of magnitude. So as far as productivity and actual content goes, bounty program is absolutely key. Okay, so the next thing is a little bit more of an abstract concept for your cryptocurrency startup, but it's equally important, and that is a clear and concise use case. Okay, it could be all well and good that you want to create a cryptocurrency and you have all these ideas on how it's going to be the fastest cryptocurrency or the most secure or the most anonymous or the most memory effective or something like that. And it might even be that good. But if there's no use case, if there's no reason for anyone to engage with it or to use it, then it's never going to get off the ground, okay? Because the cryptocurrency space is so competitive and there are so many new cryptocurrencies every day that only really the new, interesting, innovative ones pick up traction without a crazy amount of marketing, right? Or even deception, right? And we see that all over the cryptocurrency space. There's a lot of false promises. There's a lot of vaporware, as they say. So the right use case and a very specific use case is absolutely vital. Okay, without it, your cryptocurrency has no use case. It has no use. Nobody can use it. Okay, so that's really important as well. Now, number 7 is, and this is very similar to the bounty program thing, a community focus. You need to be constantly worried about what your community's doing, feeling, thinking, and how they're reacting to what you're putting out. You want to make a trusting relationship with your community. You want them to feel as though you have their best interests at heart all the time. And really, you should have, because your community are who are responsible for making your project a success. Okay, if you don't have the trust of your community, the only way you can make money off them is by scamming them, right? And you don't want to do that. That's a short-term solution. Okay, that never works in the medium to long term. Scamming people doesn't work, all right? So you want to create a fantastic relationship as strong as you can with your community. Okay, bounty program is a great way to do this. Okay, engage with the community developers, actually talk to them on Discord and Telegram, actually speak to them because they want to speak to you. And a lot of the time, especially with the early adopters and the early community members, they're great quality people. You know, they were the ones who found it first. They were clever enough to be in the right place. Okay, so you want to set up relationships. There's no way that one person is going to be as effective or as clever or as visionary as all of these people put together, especially if they're engaged and excited. So having a community focus and really taking what you can and giving back what you can to the community, it's a symbiotic relationship, and it's just going to increase reach and productivity orders of magnitude. So that's super key. So following on from that is point 8, and that is that you need to have a public GitHub repository for all of your code, okay? As much as possible. You want to make as much as you can open source for 2 reasons. Not only can you, with open source, you make everything completely transparent. So your community can see exactly what you're doing. They can trust you. They can see you're not trying to scam them. So that the transparency thing is super clear, super important, right? But on the other hand, if you have open source code, they can take that code and they can make it better. They can solve bugs that you didn't see. They can write applications on top of it. They can add new features. And if you encourage them to do that with the bounty programs, then again, you're going to have a much better product lifecycle, right? I mean, look at Bitcoin. Nobody paid the Bitcoin developers to do Bitcoin originally, but it's become the most used cryptocurrency out there. It's become the flagship cryptocurrency. It was completely community driven. Look at Linux, the operating system. It's the developer's operating system. It's open source. There's contributors from all around the world. It's got a huge community. So a public GitHub is going to feed into your community focus. It's going to be a really great thing for you to have. And if you don't have a public GitHub, that can lead to suspicion in your community. And there is a lot of, rightly so, there's a lot of suspicion in the cryptocurrency community because there are so many scams out there. There are so many short-lived projects with big promises that raised a lot of money that all disappeared. So a public GitHub, that's number 8. Okay, so number 9 is developers that actually care. Okay, when you're in a new technology space, everything's a challenge, because there is no clear-cut blueprint that you can follow to create something of use. Okay, and we've seen this with ERC20 contracts. Okay, it's a cookie cutter contract, and now we have tens of thousands of ERC contracts floating around everywhere, and people are losing their money to them. And the Ethereum network has congestion issues from time to time, and you really want to find developers that are interested in doing things the right way. If you're a developer, then that's fantastic because you can hold yourself accountable. But if you have developers that don't care, then it's going to be incredibly challenging to create anything at all, let alone create something that is going to be innovative and something that the community is going to care about, something with a use case. It's like any startup. If you need to have an absolutely unimaginable amount of determination. So your developers are kind of like your backbone as far as cryptocurrencies go. And if they don't care, if they're not completely, totally into it, then that's going to be a huge problem. So that goes on to number 10, your undivided attention. You absolutely need to be completely focused on your project. Okay, ideally, you need to become a developer. If you're not a developer, you really would benefit from learning a little bit of code, from talking to your developers, and really picking apart the technology, figuring out how it works, pulling bits off. Don't be afraid to break it. But you can't just make a smart contract, and launch a token and say, okay, now I'm going to become a millionaire because I've made a cryptocurrency. It doesn't work like that. It's way too competitive for that to happen. So you absolutely need to be fully committed. That's the only way. There are going to be so many obstacles from start to finish that you need to be completely and totally focused. So that's 10 things that you absolutely need in your cryptocurrency startup. And please remember to always hodl for as long as possible.